We've all been there, and today we're going to try to find some clarity by looking at 6 key signs that what you were feeling wasn't actually love at all.
I mean, it is so easy to get swept up in that whirlwind of a new connection. So how do you know? How do you know if you're building a foundation for something that's going to last or if you're just living in a fantasy? That's the core question we really need to answer.
So, here's our game plan. We'll start by figuring out the difference between love and illusion. Then, we'll dive into the signs, looking at them through the lens of infatuation, connection, and care. And finally, we'll land on what these feelings really mean for you.
Okay, so to get to the heart of this, we first have to understand what we're even talking about. What does it mean when we say a feeling is just an illusion?
You know, relationship expert Susan Winter just nails it with this definition. Infatuation isn't just a simple crush. It's this fragile state that is totally built on an illusion. It needs perfection to survive. Think about that. It's built on this perfect idea of a person, and the second reality gets a little messy, it shatters. Let's keep that idea right in the front of our minds. So how does this illusion actually show up in real life? Well, the first couple of signs are all about getting caught up in that fantasy, that dizzying speed of a brand new connection.
All right, this one is a classic. You've only known them for, a few weeks, but you're already picturing your entire future together. You're obsessing over them, feeling this super intense lust. It's like you're trying to skip all the messy getting to know you chapters and just jump right to the happily ever after.
And this really gets to the heart of the difference. Infatuation is a total sprint, and it's fueled by dreams of who you want that person to be. But real love, it's more like a tree. It takes time to grow deep roots because it's based on who the person actually is, flaws and all.
I mean, listen to how Susan Winter puts it. Infatuation lives in illusion. Love can survive reality. It really is that simple. An illusion just can't handle the real world, but genuine love, it's strong enough to thrive in it.
And that leads us right into our second sign, which is all about this idea that your partner has to be perfect. You find yourself getting genuinely let down, maybe even a little angry, when they show their true colors, like when they aren't dressed perfectly, or they say the wrong thing, or they're just having a bad day.
So here's the crucial point. Infatuation puts your partner way up on a pedestal, and any little crack in that perfect image can make the whole thing come crashing down. Love, on the other hand, is grounded. It sees the imperfections and says, okay, this is part of you, and hey, we can work through this stuff together. And this need for perfection, it often leads right into our next theme, a lack of real comfort and connection both emotionally and physically. Just think about it for a second. Can you really let loose and be your true, unguarded self around them? Or do you feel like you're constantly self-conscious, always worried about saying the wrong thing or making a bad impression? If you can't share your struggles, your fears, your real emotions, that is a major, major sign. And this isn't just a feeling. There's real research on this. Dr. Brené Brown's work shows that a true sense of love and belonging is absolutely impossible without vulnerability. When you feel disconnected, what do? You build walls. But real love, it requires the courage to take those walls down. Now look, it's totally normal for that initial fiery passion to cool down and settle into a steady, comfortable relationship. But this is different. This is an active desire to pull away. So you gotta ask yourself, are you starting to cancel plans because honestly you'd rather be with friends or family or even just by yourself? When it's just infatuation fading, you find excuses to create that distance. When it's love, even after years, you still genuinely want to be close to that person. So you have this emotional distance, and that often leads to a shift in a completely different area, your focus. Our final signs are all about where you're directing your energy and how your body starts to respond when that focus is just gone. This is when you notice that your focus has really fundamentally shifted. You kind of stop paying attention to the little things about them. And when a conflict comes up, your first instinct isn't to try and work through it, but to just avoid that tough conversation completely. This is exactly what author Stephen Betchen means when he says that partners in love maintain a focus on their counterparts. It's about showing you care by leaning in, even when it's tough. Avoiding arguments isn't just about keeping the peace. A lot of the time, it's a signal that the relationship just isn't a priority anymore. And finally, our last sign is one that your own body might be trying to scream at you. When your gut knows something is wrong but you're not ready to admit it to yourself, that stress can show up in some very real physical ways. Seriously, psychologists see this all the time. Unaddressed relationship stress can turn into digestive issues, sleepless nights, or just this constant nagging sense of dread. It's that physical feeling of having something on your chest that you just can't bring yourself to say out loud. Your body knows the truth, even when your mind is trying its best to ignore it.
Okay, so after looking at all these signs, it might be easy to feel a little discouraged. But listen, the point here isn't to judge your past feelings. It's all about finding clarity for your future.
Ultimately, the big takeaway is this. Realizing you weren't truly in love isn't a failure. Not at all. It's an act of honesty. Trying to force a feeling that isn't there, that only ends up hurting both people in the long run. Everyone deserves a chance to find a love that's real, one that can actually survive reality.
So I'll leave you with this question. Understanding what isn't love really helps us clarify what is. So take a moment and think about it. Now that you know the signs, what does a connection that's grounded and vulnerable and real, what does that truly look like for you?